Heart Matters. Heart Matters. Heart Matters.
Welcome everyone from wherever you're watching us. This is Heart Matters. And on today's show, we are looking at technology and social media. I am your host, Priscilla Gitonga.
And I am Mogo Wamasharia. Many thanks for joining us.
Oh yes, this is a show that seeks to demystify all about love, sex, dating, relationships, and everything else in between. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, yeah. Woo!
Well, I took longer to get to the set because my co-host does not wear a high heel like me. And so on this show, we have very, very important guests before we begin, and I would like to introduce them. And our utmost audience in the studio today, Mogo Wamasharia, I don't know whether you're out there.
Hey, mi niko area. I can see you from here. You guys, muko sawa kabisa? Viewers back at home, lucky for us, we have some very wonderful and of course interesting students with us on Heart Matters. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the one and only Kiambu High, makofi ya Kiambu High. Hey! Yes, we also have another interesting school. They go by the name of St. Linda's. Makofi ya St. Linda's mko wapi? Hey, hey, hey.
Thank you very much. Mogo, on this side, I have very important guests. And the first one on the show is Alano, aka Brian of Real House Helps of Kawangware. I got it. Karibu sana.
Asante
Is
sana.
this a signature of the Kawangware people?
Yes.
Okay. Karibu sana.
Asanteni.
Hiyo ni signature ya Waluya.
Signature, hallelujah. Aye. And also I have another very important guest, Purity. Purity Wairimo. Purity Wairimo is a university student and will be our youth representative for the show today. Karibu sana, Purity. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Karibu. I'm also going to introduce very important guests sitting with you, studio audience. He's Lamek Leyan. Lamek Leyan is an actor, an artist, and of course, a very passionate person when it comes to the youth. You can see how he does that. Karibu sana.
Thank you. Hello. Hello.
Yes, he's a very bad influence in a very good way. He just made you really dance this day. We rarely do that. Thank you.
Anytime.
Yeah. We also have a parent figure, Anne Mushiru. Anne is a counselor, she's a teacher, she's a mother, and today she will represent our parent figure. You know, when she's here, I feel safer. She's a mom. So, Purity, Brayo,
Yes.
and we are glad to be living in this age, 21st century, where technology is everything. I don't know whether there is anyone here who doesn't know WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, and if you don't have it, if you don't have a smartphone, what happens? You're ridiculed, ati, bado uko na analog.
Uko chini.
Sijui uko na kabambe. Uko chini, eh? Uko chini. And the funny thing is that our students, as young as high school or even primary school, can actually use that gadget better than even us, who have been there for a long time. And it has influenced our relationships. You find in a sitting room like this, everyone will be having his phone on, and they will be talking, and of course not concentrating on each other. And, you know, it has influenced our life that way. And I wonder whether that's a bad thing, or is it a good thing? When it comes to relationships, it has substituted what we used to call face-to-face relationship. Even with these things called television, we have it, we have a family meeting in the house, and yet we are not talking to each other like this. We are all here talking to another person, and yet we are in this. Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing? Brian,
For me,
with the house helps,
yeah, with the
especially.
house helps. Okay.
Yes.
For me, I think it all depends on the age group. Because in our days, tukiwa bado nikiwa high school, we didn't have the privilege to have the social media. That is Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp. But now, as we are told right now, it either can destroy you or build you. Okay? It's how well you use it. But for the target audience, which is the school, the pupils or the students, I think unless you're using it for other purposes as far as education is concerned. But if it's dating, well, I believe no, because first of all, it's a blind date. You get mostly Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. You don't get to know the person in real life.
Yes.
Mnaongea tu naye on social media until siku mtafunga shule ndio unaenda kummeet, una get.
Yes.
And then it turns out the other way around. Si ule msee mwenye ulikuwa una expect.
Yeah.
And it happens also to students kwa sababu unapata wanajipatianga, they brand themselves some funny names, unajua Bootylicious,
Bootylicious
John, unaget ati wewe John te ule mnoma, unaget. But ukienda kunini unapata ni jina ingine tu hapo.
Unapata ni jamaa mwingine si mnoma hata.
Ukienda kutana naye kwa stage, ni mimi ndio ulikuwa unaongea naye Facebook. Ni mimi John.
Sasa yeye hajaweka hata picha yake, ameweka Rihanna.
Ariana ama paka. Unaget.
Purity, you are a university student. Yes. How often do you use your phone?
I think I always have my phone with me. I always have my phone with me. It's always on. Net is always on. I always have it with me.
You spend more time on data than on SMSs?
Yes. I come from a place where home, my mom doesn't like it. She does not like it. She sees phones and she will throw them. Let's talk. If we're in the house, put the phones down, let's eat. You know, put your phones down, let's do this. But when you're outside that setting, the way you just said, you know, you sit in a place, you're in class or mwenda pali kula, una simu, mina simu, everyone is just...
Especially on campus where we don't do not enter with a phone.
It's
you have it all the time.
Yeah, it's
all the time.
It's a sign. It's rude. Plus, it's rude.
It's rude.
It's rude. Plus, it's also addictive.
Yes.
Because you imagine you're in a meeting, ama you're meeting with a person and you're busy on your phone. Somebody, the first impression, itakuwa tu mse, si mtu anaweza kana watu. So it's a turn off for me. Because even if we were to do a deal and you're busy on your phone, I'll just tell you, come next time.
Come next time when you don't have your phone.
I'll call you.
Mom, and we are almost putting a disclaimer. This is a social meeting. Please do not come with your phones. I do that all the time in class. How often do you use your phone? Are you on social media?
I'm not very active, but on WhatsApp, yes.
It's still social media.
Yeah.
Do you think then that technology is a good or a bad thing?
It will depend on how you use it. On the part of information, it is very good. In fact, we don't have to go to the libraries. Sometimes you don't even have to go looking for the newspaper. It will provide.
It will provide.
Yeah, but again, if we go to the wrong source of information,
like
maybe,
pornography and
yes,
stuff. Yeah.
again, now that time we are using it wrongly.
What's your assessment on how it has affected relationships?
It has
in this
really
century?
affected. It has really affected, whereby most of the youths that we have today, many of them cannot express themselves.
Yes.
Because of the social media.
Oh, yes.
And many of them, again, they are very active in social media, but they are not active when it comes to books. Because learning is very important, but if you try to find out what people are learning, especially the youths, you find it is very, very literal. Positive learning.
Yes.
Positive learning is very literal, but this other learning is very literal.
Actually, my co-host is on the other side with the student, with the audience in the studio. Mugo, I am a little concerned. The other day I saw a photo, and there was this group of students who are on phones. Every one of them was using a phone. But then there was something else, like some hands that were picking the brain out of the head. So the head was open, and there was this liquid pouring out. Brain drain.
It's actually referred to as a zombie apocalypse. You know,
Zombie what?
apocalypse. We tend to think that maybe the final days of this world, we're going to be attacked by some zombies. Well, what do you know? We have already reached there, because if I walk outside here, everybody's going to be like this. Everybody's just on their phones. Just like zombies. You don't even think about anything. Somebody can get hit by a car, and you're just there, on your phone.
Somebody actually got hit by a train.
You see? That's
Because
a very
he
big
was
problem.
on phone.
So now the big question is here, are we really addicted to phones? Personally, I think I am. I normally don't leave my phone. I'm guilty as charged, but I will actually try to pose this question to my very interesting friend, Lamek. Are we addicted to phone? Are you addicted to phone?
Yes, we are addicted to our phones.
Yes, I am addicted
But
to
you
my
are
phone.
adults.
We are adults.
Yes.
But, it's a culture that it's practiced. It's just like good behavior, how to sit, how to talk. The same way, if we use our phones always in class, sadly in churches,
Imagine. Hata Biblia iko kwa simu.
imagine, to a point even some couples in their own bed, everybody is using their phone. They're not even talking to each other. So I think it's a menace in society.
But is this a problem with the young people that you are sitting with right there? I mean, they're in school like 3 months every term. Is it a problem with you?
To me, I think life is all about what you make. And in terms of addiction, I agree with you that it may be there, but then in life there are many things that you have to do. But then you have to base yourself on the core business of life. For example, we have got studies, and also we have got social media.
When you go on holiday, how long do you stay with your phone?
How long?
Usually, during the day, I use it working, not on the phone, but working on relevant
Other
things.
things.
And then during the night, I take some few hours when that's the time that I'm on social media.
It depends. You might be on social media, but now the big question is, what are you doing on social media?
Yes.
What is it that you normally look forward to? Is it communicating with your friends, watching some sites or whatnot? Tell us.
Sometimes I partake some little bit of research of things. Maybe the teacher gave us but did not clarify. And then another thing is that
That's his opinion. He's a very sharp guy. I like your answer, my brother.
besides that, there's also social life where I do make friends. That's the time that I communicate to my friends. We chat a bit, but then it doesn't have to go beyond a certain level.
All right,
Yeah,
that's a very interesting answer. I wanted this time to hear an answer from a lady. Tell us what they normally do on social media. Is it kukatiana, kuchinjiana, or being fisets? Any lady who is willing to talk to us?
Okay, for me, if how I usually do on social media, mostly, to be frank, okay, you make new friends. Everybody wants to be on digital. You don't want to feel inferior. And don't stay outside of the circle when your friends start talking about, did you see that video in WhatsApp? Did you see these pictures? You want to be updated. Don't be left behind. That's what us as teenagers want
You're
to do on
doing.
social media, yes.
What kind of friends are you making?
Okay, friends that is inside the country, outside the country, internationally, following up our celebrities or our role models. Yeah, most of them.
Are they usually your other girls, or are they just?
Okay, most of them, mostly I can say boys or men in particular.
Yeah, I totally agree with her. Because there's no way you can be chatting with somebody of the opposite sex for that long. It's my opinion. So that is pretty much it. Now, finally, my last question, and I would really like you guys to ask the special guests that are on the studio. Just ask them a question on regards to what you have in mind, in regards to the topic at hand.
But Mogo, I just want to hear from a guy.
From a guy.
Apart from the one who studies on social media. I don't know whether he studies on WhatsApp.
Mwakenya.
Ama ni Mwakenya inapita. No, and how do you start up that conversation?
There is a guy who has an answer. Tell us.
Usually you talk to people you've met before, at least once, at a function or a friend of a friend. You could ask for a number. Then you get to know each other on WhatsApp or on Facebook. You could plan to meet up, you could plan to have fun. Then relationships start that way.
Do you just talk to one girl or do you want to meet several girls?
Several.
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 It has to be
How
several.
do you meet, how do you make that happen?
Okay, you see, when you go to a function, you maximize your opportunities. So you spread out everywhere, ufisi. Then once you get those contacts, you will go home, and those that make you happy or those that you enjoy conversations with, you will plan to meet or to have more fun with each other.
Do you talk to people that you don't know? Guys that you don't know or women that you don't know and you want to meet them? You have not met them before, you've not met them in a function. Like
From time to time, someone might give you a number and tell you, have fun with her. Then, I don't know, you just do. Yeah.
Have fun with her. What kind of fun?
What do you mean by
Well,
have fun?
Well, fun starts with a conversation, then
Ends
kiss.
with what?
and ends with you meeting up and sipping something.
Well, you sound like the headmaster for Team Mafisi.
Team Mafisi. He's the chairman.
He's a chairman.
Chairman.
But seriously, there is a serious issue on how the young people are using technology and social media and what it is exposing them to and what they end up doing. Some of them end up sharing very pornographic material, even engaging in we used to call phone sex. Now, I don't know what to call it now.
Sexting.
Sexting.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very serious, and I think the young people don't realize how serious this one is. I don't know whether they realize, and I think I would like to interrogate further on the effects of technology on relationships, on young people, and how that we feed back to that right after the break.
Hot matters. Hot matters. Hot matters. Hot matters. Hot matters. Hot matters.
All right. Welcome back to the show, viewer back at home. This is another episode of your favorite show, Hot Matters. Now, before we went on a break, the topic was getting hotter and hotter. Ama ni aje watu wa Kiambu? Now, in case you're joining us, please visit us on our social media handles. That is Facebook at Hot Matters KUTV and, of course, Twitter handle Hot Matters TV. Using the Twitter handle for today, which is hashtag I am a slave of technology. Now, without much further ado,
Oh yes.
Priscilla?
You know what is happening is that we don't really realize how serious technology is and
very
how
serious.
it is affecting our young people. But the truth is, there are many pros and cons of using social media and technology in relationships today. And as much as it is an advantage, it is a disadvantage working against us. And I think we have a lot to learn from our young
Yeah.
people as a post-analog.
all right.
Right.
Now, we were talking about the disadvantage of social media in our society and also in our relationships. Sindio? So, Bwana Brian, utatuambia kuna shida yoyote kwa maneno kama hii. What is the problem in such relationship, in social media on relationship?
The disadvantage part of it is when you don't know how to use it. For example, if I normally see people, especially umeheartbreakiwa ama umedampiwa and you're using social media, you post subliminal messages in the sense that you don't want to face it ama umwambie, unaenda kuidirect to someone on Facebook na it doesn't concern the world. You get? Again, maybe tragedies that happen, mtu anachukua picha anaipost without knowing that inaweza humiza msee. Una get? That's the disadvantage. So you should know how to use it very well. You get? Na kuweka ma hashtag, using the bad hashtags, you know. There are some hashtags that you unaweza
But you see, the problem sometimes is not us or maybe the users of such social media, you know, items such as phones and all that. Sometimes it's, you know, ignorance. Sometimes you don't know. For example, an accident happens somewhere, maybe there was a terrorist attack. Guys go on ahead and just take the photos and share them out. How should we go up? Should the government come in and try to stop such things?
You know, it all starts with you. It doesn't even involve the government, because wewe mwenyewe jiulize, if ni wewe you are affected.
If you are in that,
wewe ungefeel aje? Huyu mtu hata haja receive your news, lakini ameenda kuingia social media akapata the first person ni mtu anajua ama ni family member. It all starts with you. Ask yourself, mimi mwenyewe ningefanyaje? Una get? Government, in fact, na like chenye government inafanya sahi, because it should be a lesson to others when wana nini. You should see, you know, you shouldn't be told. It's something that it's just wewe mwenyewe ujue.
Unafaa ujue mwenyewe.
Ujue mwenyewe.
And should we get like some certain, how should I put it, education on it? Should you're
I'm a
university student, and of course,
it is important. It is important that we tell people some of these things are wrong.
They're very wrong.
And people, since people have already told us and shown us that they cannot think for themselves, let us help them think. You know, let's introduce it. Let's, even to our high school students, let them know this is wrong, this is wrong, this is how to handle social media, this is how to handle certain situations. That way, when we are even introducing repercussions and consequences by law, people already know what is right and what is wrong. Because like, if it's an accident, some of these things, we expect it to be common sense, as he said. We expect people to know anyway, ni mbaya.
It's
you
very
know,
bad.
you wouldn't want to be in that position where you're in the house, you're on Facebook and you're scrolling through news, and then you're like, hiya, that's my brother. You know, you wouldn't like it. So
another problem I understand is, for example, when somebody gets dumped, they normally go ahead and just share it out. Oh, I've been heartbroken today. Oh, how should we approach that? I mean, I don't really expect you guys to put everything that is about you out there on social media for everybody to see. Should people be also taught on that, on such issues, or should they all begin from their personal initiative?
If I must, to start with, the high school students are not telling us exactly what they do with the phones.
What they normally do.
Because these days, initially in our days, once we get an outing, we will go looking for Madazi and those other stuffs to eat. But these days, they run to the
social media.
Can you tell us? They run to the from school.
chemist.
They run to the cyber. And then at the cyber, they will download those pictures and they will print them, and then they will go back with them to school. Is it true?
Guilty as charged or less guilty?
Yes.
Or not guilty?
Okay, however much schools
Less
are
guilty does
trying,
not mean you're not guilty.
yeah,
Not
however much
guilty.
schools are trying to make students not to go with the phones at school. Anytime that there is that impromptu inspection, you will get several phones, unfortunately, and then you will also get several SIM cards.
Yeah.
So that means they are still being used.
And the funny thing is, you will also not even find any phones. You don't know where they hide them.
They
in
do.
their socks,
Teachers
shoes.
sometimes know where they are hidden, and sometimes they don't know, so they'll need to be tipped. And sometimes we are tipped when a deal goes sour. So that is when you'll get tipped and you'll know where they are hidden. So they are still being used and in the wrong way. When we were talking of the disadvantages of using the social media, first of all, physically, ourselves, every time you are bending on your phone, so the base of your neck, when you are getting up, you'll feel it is strained.
Yeah.
So that one eventually in the long term, especially with the children who are growing, there will come something that has not yet come up. but it is being researched on, and eventually after several years, maybe something will come.
So it has some
It
health
will have some health
consequences,
effects.
even for the eyes, because
Physical.
sometimes
Then
you're
the
looking,
eyes.
you're looking
Every
directly.
time you are
Yeah.
on that light. So again, it will come. Some research is also being done, and I was seeing some clip on the WhatsApp where I think something to get with that heat on the laptop.
On the laptop.
Yeah, it is being researched on, and so this research will go on, and then we'll see how it is going to affect us physically on our health. So that means the more we use them, there are going to be more disadvantages on our health.
On our health.
Again, I've said that people are running to the cyber more than to the
Library.
hotels and the
Classes.
yeah.
Say.
So that means again, there are those people who are using the internet so much that they don't even have time to feed.
Wow.
They don't even have time to eat.
So it is that
They don't
serious.
have time to cook. So that means again they are growing children and they don't have time to eat. So that again is going to have an effect on ourselves.
So in short, there are very many negatives, the negative effects of
Yeah, they are
social
there.
media.
They are
But what
there.
about the positive side? For example, Brayo, Alano, let me use your real name.
Okay, Alano. No
Alano.
problem.
You know, during our days, we used to interact with the ladies through the baruas and all that, kupakapale, cologne, and then you send them. But nowadays, with social media, it becomes very easy to interact with a lady from another school, especially if you're in high school or such things. So is that a positive thing or is it a negative thing?
It's a positive thing.
Having in mind that sometimes, due to the rules of the school, of the institutions, they are never allowed. Would you really advocate for that?
Well, I would advocate if wamefunga shule, you can use your phone as much as you want, but in school, it's time for school. Na why would you even use a phone in school and yet you umeenda kusoma? Umeenda
But
kusoma.
there's a guy who said that they normally use their phones for purposes of research and all that.
Which is 50-50. 50-50. Either way, akitaka kugoogle kitu ndio, but the other side pia, I think it's not even 50-50, it's 70-30. 70% kugoogle vitu zingine, 30% studies. Because kulingana na ground rules ama rules za shule, you should not enter with a phone in school. So why in the first place?
You shouldn't. So you guys, what do you normally use if you want to get to reach somebody from another institution? Mnatumiaga nini nowadays? Phones or baruas?
They are saying phones.
Phones.
They use phones.
Ooh.
But they're in school, so I'm also curious to know where they're actually hidden.
Can they tell us?
I like this guy. He says, oh, where do you usually hide the phone? Where do you hide the phone? What happens? How do you get in touch with the girls?
Okay, you see, Baruas are so 1900. It's all about phones. As in school, there's journalism club.
There's a journalism club.
Yeah. So be like, these guys have got laptop. There's Wi-Fi supply in the school. So anytime you want to hook up with someone, it's just puppies.
Okay. And the girls? Huh? Girls are guilty as charged. Where are the girls?
There is one I can see from here.
Do you have phones in school? How do you access them?
To be honest, we don't actually use phones.
You don't use phones?
Yeah, but like my friend has said, there's journalism club. If you want to pass a message, say for example, there's a school magazine, you can send a big up. You see the back page. You send a big up to whoever you want to send to, just like inside the magazines. So
Yes.
yeah, that's one of the ways that we use to send our messages.
To communicate across schools.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think to
But you know, Mogo, I'm actually concerned because in the first place, we have all been saying it has a negative, it is bad, it's not good, and all that. But are these young people convinced it's not good? Or ama nyi watu munawanyima tu raha?
That is why we were talking about the positive.
The positive effects.
Positive parts of
But do you think
social media.
that technology and social media, do you accept that it might actually affect you negatively?
It can affect you negatively in terms of, for example, you have said about addiction. And this may lead to an extent of you sneaking in school with a phone.
Yes.
And instead of concentrating on your studies, what you do is actually doing some crazy things on social media, and leaving the core business of life. And at the end of it all, you find yourself failing. So I think it might affect you negatively.
It might affect you negatively in school. How about the positive part of it? Yes.
The positive part is that some people, okay, when you start saying that addiction, you know, you might generalize it and say everyone is addicted. But to be honest, this thing doesn't affect everyone, because phones, the sneaking of phones into school, it's like 10%. The other 90%, there are some who don't own phones. Others own phones that are analog, and those are the ones who are not who are ashamed of talking about it. And there are others who, yes, they own digital phones, but they really are not addicted to it, as in it's just there for convenience sake. So the 90%, I can say they use their phones very well, and they use technology for example, if they're going to contact a girl on WhatsApp, yeah, they discuss general issues. It doesn't necessarily have to do with sex or such things, because I mean, when you're inside a relationship with a girl, it's more than that. It's more of how you and her relate. So when you communicate with her, some, yes, will talk about sex, others will exchange pornographic material, but most will associate just the way you can do face-to-face.
Friendship.
Yeah, friendship. It's like friendship.
Yes.
That's very insightful, my brother. That's very
It
sharp.
is.
I totally agree with you on that.
Lamek here. Let's have Lamek talk on behalf of
An
this
advantage
young
of
man.
technology and social media.
Okay. First thing, networking. Social media is very nice for networking. You can know other people, you know how other environments are. Some people are curious, what's the weather in Mombasa? And I'm in Nairobi. You can know it through social media.
That's a high school person.
Oh, first generally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wondering what's the...
When you come low to like high school, schools communicate. School, you can know what's happening in another school. Some music festival results, communication with other peers. It can be a boy, it can be a girl. There are clubs in schools which communicate via Facebook, maybe things like scouting, journalism. Maybe there's a conference. Like 2 weeks ago, there was a conference in Alliance where young students were being mentored. The only way that the information could get out was via Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And it was a national thing. So we can tap some positivity through it. Yeah.
Yes. But Mogo, I bring back this to you. There's a guy here who wants to contribute. And as he does that, I also want to say that technology is just not about phones. These people watch TV. How many times do you watch TV in a day in school?
Maybe during weekends for high school
Once
students.
a week.
Yeah.
Kiambu High, I should go there. The girls?
Twice. Oh, you guys
How
are
many
having a wonderful
times?
time in school. Eh?
Twice. What time of the day do you watch TV? During? Weekends? Night time? Weekends? Afternoon? Up to 12 o'clock? 10? Okay.
All right.
Right. One more guy here, then he's talking on the advantages of technology and social media.
Asante kwa maoni yangu, mimi nitaongea Kiswahili.
Haya basi.
Mimi kwa maoni yangu simu ama technology inasaidia watu kuchanuka as in kukuwa more
informed.
Kukuwa more kuona mbali.
Kiswahili ni sawa tu.
Kuona mbali
ama sheng ni sawa tu.
Sawa. Kuona mbali na pia kusaidika kimawazo, kufikiria sana. So mi kwa maoni yangu sioni kama mitandao ama vitu vyote ikiharibu watu. Inasaidia sana kwa maana pia kuna watu kuanga na manjaa, yani kule kuwa na hamu ya kutaka kuwa na opposite sex. Inakaa kumsaidia kwa sababu atapata kuongea na yeye hata kama yuko mbali na yeye, ndo apunguze hiyo njaa yake.
All right, that's very insightful, my brother. Now, we all know that addiction equals depression. So we are going to look at some of the reasons that people would end up being depressed over social media and, of course, technology. But before we do that, we are going to take you, viewer, back at home on a very short commercial break. We'll be right back.
Hot matters. Hot matters. Hot matters. Hot matters. Hot matters. Hot matters.
Welcome back. You're watching Heart Matters, and just in case you're joining us, we are discussing on technology and social media and how that has affected dating and relationship among the young people in the 21st century. Our hashtag is Slave of Technology. You can be part of this conversation on our social media handles that are displaying at the bottom of your screen. Right before we went on a break, we heard from our young people that actually social media has served them to positive side. They don't think it is 100% negative. And as much as it helps them to network, it also has eased interaction and networking with the opposite sex. It has also eased getting a friendship or a friend of the opposite sex, and has also helped them meet certain sexual needs much easily. However, there are a lot of disadvantages that the young people need to be aware of today. And I go back to my co-host together with our guests. Mugo,
Right.
it's
Thank you
yours.
very much, Priscilla. But before we move on to the negative, we want, first of all, to stick kidogo to the positive aspects of social media and, of course, technology. Anne, you were telling me before we went on a break that there is a way if you put your profile out there for people to see on social media, it might not be a negative thing, but of course a positive. How is that even possible?
There are times that you can talk about your feelings, however negative they are, and then as counselors we learn that something is wrong with you. And these are sometimes things that you cannot be able to talk to somebody. So once they come there in the social media and we learn that something is wrong with you, there are people who will again post different information on how to help you. And in other cases, if it is somebody I know, I will try to intervene because I'll have learned that there is something wrong with that person, something that they would not have been able to discuss with
But you
somebody
see, once
else.
you post your profile, everything about yourself out there, you're risking being judged by people. And you know how being judged is very bad for people.
Yeah.
I don't expect myself to say, for example, I had been dumped by a lady and then I go ahead and write, oh, I'm so heartbroken right now. I did this and that, and then that's why I'm single right now. You're risking being judged by people out there. So what do you think, Alan?
I think mwenye atakuja to the rescue, because once you uploaded or you posted something on your wall, there's someone mwenye atafeel anakuja kwa rescue akwambie ni aje, nimeona kitu kwa post yako, what is it about? So before kidonde iendelee kwa kubwa, amekusaidia mahali. So the next time hautakuwa cause ashakupatia hiyo therapy ama amekupatia counseling, so you utakuwa una post vitu. But if at all unge post, no one would know that kulikuwa na shida mahali, ingekuwa kwa nini yako, na the more unaiweka kwa roho, the more utaumia, unaget? The more utaumia. But the person mwenye ataweka hapo, na mimi as a professional counselor ama mtu mwenye ataka kusaidia, I'll be concerned. Nikwambie, hebu ingia inbox uniambie what's happening. Nimeona kitu kwa wall yako, hebu niambie. First of all, nitakusaidia, but don't post it on nini kesho, even ndo tutafa. Can we meet? Then one on one mna meet, mnasaidiana.
That is if you have a counselor somewhere, somebody
If you
who
have
really
a
cares
counselor,
for you.
or a
But
friend.
what if you don't? What if you don't have that person who's really close who can actually advise you on such issues? What can you do, Purity?
I think it's a very thin line. I think it's a very, very thin line. Because when I put something out there, I cannot control who sees it first or who doesn't. So I think it's a very thin line, because if you get negative feedback before you get positive feedback, it doesn't help your situation.
And mostly are going to be negative.
So sometimes I think it's also, there are forums that could work for you. There are groups, and there are pages you can post on that would work for you. But it's a very, very thin line if you just put it out there. I'll give an example. If I have a problem, if I'm going through something, and I have various groups, let me use WhatsApp, various groups on WhatsApp, depending on the problem, it picks out whichever group I should post it on. There are groups you'll post it on and then people just be like, well, nobody really cares. And there's a place you'll post it on and get the help that you need. So I think we also need to be careful on who you want to come close to information at first. You know,
true.
The same way if you post a photograph of yourself, whoever finds it, if somebody finds it first and goes like, oh, that looks nice, you know, the dress looks nice, you look nice. And if somebody else finds it first and they go like, that color is not, you know, it's not you, it's not, it will, whoever sees it first determines a lot of what happens next. Because if I was posting it so that people can say I look nice and they don't, then it has a negative effect.
So the compliment here really builds up somebody's self-esteem.
It will build me, you know.
Now you see, that's what we have. That's a big problem, because nowadays people are posting everything. If I'm having lunch maybe at a particular hotel that is fancy, Ndanika pale, oh, having lunch at somewhere. Nimepigwa picha na celebrities, I'm going to post it. People to see the positive side of my life. So I tend to believe that such cases are, social media is more or less a make-believe platform. You want people to believe that you're having a very wonderful life out there, but once you get to meet them physically, that's not really what's going on.
Plus,
so are we really,
plus others use it for publicity purposes. So you want like to create a traffic or a thread, so even if it's bad, you know, when you talk, they say bad publicity spreads faster.
Yeah, true.
You know, get. So at least hata mtu akinini akiandika kitu mbaya unajua kumbe wanaona, kumbe wanani follow. Kama unge nini, unge like, unge comment, unaona.
Before we went on a break, Priscilla, I was talking about depression being a result of addiction, you know, in regards to social media and technology. Yes. Is that case true? If I might.
Are you asking whether the social media actually can
cause depression? Assuming you don't have any particular gadget to use, can it really cause depression? Because you still want to get the feedbacks from people to raise your esteem.
Yes.
Once you don't get them, does that result to depression?
Well, I want to hear that from the young people.
Yeah.
How many of us have a phone at home that you access after school, during holidays? So what if that phone is taken from you?
If the phone goes away, then you go to the computer.
You go to the computer.
Yes.
So what if all that is taken away? Does it cause you stress?
No.
It doesn't?
Yes,
so your friends can wait until it is back?
Your virtual friends can wait, then you go to your real friends.
When you go to your real
real
friends?
person, yes.
The real people. Girls, you're posting your nice photo, you're at Mombasa with your parents, and then no one says nothing.
Okay, as a victim, when I post my picture on Facebook, I accept likes. Okay,
you accept likes?
Yeah. Okay, when I post it, when I don't get a like, as in you feel depressed. You don't see yourself beautiful.
You think you're not beautiful?
Yeah. And then if boys don't like it, as in mostly it's your schoolmate or girls, you just feel depressed. Yeah. My point.
So yes, it causes depression.
It causes depression
if
too.
no one really comments or like your photo or like what you post or does not contribute to your conversation. And again, if the phone is taken from you, you resort into other media, computer or any other media. If that is taken too, then you look for them physically. Yes.
We will actually have to take some questions from you guys towards the panelists.
Yes, if there is any question that any one of us would like to ask.
So between the person who has a phone and the one who doesn't have a phone, and you know what's trending about social media and stuff, who is at an advantage or who is on the better side? Is it the one who doesn't have a phone or who has a phone?
Are you asking whether it's best to have a phone or not have a phone? Yes. Another question?
2 more questions.
I would also like to ask, for example, in schools, you have found someone with a phone, but then you're wondering what you should do. Because if you report, that one will be seen as a betrayal. among your fellow
Yes,
students.
yes.
So what should you do?
Another one. 2 more questions.
This goes to our mother on set, and I'm asking, is it bad to, on social media, if, for example, I send you a picture of maybe whoever, let's say my girlfriend, for example, if I send it to you, how should you take it? Should you take it negatively, take my phone away, or should you do what? Okay,
Approach
yes,
it
that's the
Yes,
question.
the parents to the parents.
All right.
If you find a photo of a girl on my page, how would you take that?
My mom goes to work, my dad goes to work. I am not allowed to go out, we live in an estate. Tell me how my phone will not become my best friend if I'm not allowed to go out. Tell me how Google will not become my parent on any research that I want when all my parents come at midnight.
Is it fair when my parents took off my phone?
Is it fair?
Is it fair when a parent takes a phone?
All right.
Back to you, Mugo.
Thank you very much, Priscilla. Now we are going to start off with the first person, that lady who asked a question in regards to whether or not having a phone or social media handles, it's a good thing or a bad thing. Purity, can you take us through on that question?
We cannot say having a phone or not having. There's no one of you that is at an advantage other than the other one, depending on your need, depending on what you need. If you want to socialize, you don't need your phone to socialize. You're in class, you have friends, you can sit down. I was just telling Brayo how I miss the days when we just sit down under a tree and tell stories the whole day about everything and anything that is going around. It depends on what you need. If you are doing research, if you do not have access to a library, then social media will work for you. Google will help you out. If you want to socialize, I think even talking face to face is beautiful. When you say something stupid and people laugh at you, instead of just posting emojis on WhatsApp, I think it's a good thing. So there's no one who is at an advantage more than the other, depending on the need that you have. Having a phone doesn't really make you better. Not having it does not make you any less. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Purity.
To add on that?
But to add on that, while you're on that, Brayo, you can actually comment also on what that guy from Kiambu just said in regards to, say, for example, you are living at home, your parents are not there, they come at midnight. How would that prevent me from being addicted to Google and social media and all that?
Okay. As we said, we are looking at the positive side and the negative side. On the negative side, we are not saying using a phone is bad, but this is the message. Use it at the right time, the right place, and the right manner. If you're not in school and you have a phone, you can use it over the weekends to use it in the right manner. You get? If at all you're Googling something. But if it's in school, no. For the scholars, weekend, Saturday and Sundays, you're always free. Sindio? You can always use that time to do research. Enda Google, enda YouTube, enda tafuta vitu zenye ina need kwa life, zenye zitakusaidia education wise, okay? Yeah. That is on the right side and the right place in the right manner. Now, usiku no, why would you use your phone usiku and your parents are not there? Unaget? Unless ni assignment. Ama ni usiku, tunaongelea usiku ya saa ngapi? Usiku wa manane, saa 8, saa 9. No, we are
midnight.
Midnight. From midnight, watu walale. Kesho tuende shule.
The idea here is being left alone by your parent and not having somebody to talk to, maybe a brother, maybe that person comes from a single parent. So he's very lonely, he's very alone, so they end up, befriending such, social media handles and all that.
Yeah, but use it in the right place.
The right place at the right time. And then to add on that, you can say, for instance, my parent grabs my phone, snatches it from me.
Okay, maybe to start with the person who makes the phone, the company, I would urge that there are novels that somebody can download on the phone, Bibles we download on the phone. So there is a lot that you can learn such that you cannot finish whatever is on the internet. The other question on whether it is fair when the phone is taken from you, this one I would maybe take it to the parents, that the best thing to do is, even if I'm going to take the phone away, we should discuss. About Instagram and the photos, that one is a major issue. I have had an issue where the dad gets to the photos and sees the daughter with the boy, you see sometimes you are just holding, to you it's not anything, but to the parent it's a lot. This is a Form 2 girl who is with a boy. The boy looks older. You see, like in somebody who is in Form 4 looks older. And then the father even clicks, this is somebody who is even working. So posting photos on the Instagram, be careful.
Right.
Yeah.
I hope that really answered you. And final remark, Brayo, as you answered that guy who talked about being a snitch. You don't want to turn out to look as if though you're a snitch in school. Okay. So how can you go about it? You see your friend having a phone there. In your very few words, and then we...
I think going back to the Bible, the Bible clearly says, be your brother's keeper. At the end of the day, you wouldn't like to see your friend kwa sababu simu ama nini ilifanya ka fail exam ama kwa anafanya revision. So it's a matter of just telling him, unajua ni aje, mimi nakuona. Either way, sitaki kuwa mbaya ama nikuwe the bad copy, but it's simply I care about you. So why don't you just put your phone aside ama iwache home tusome, then you can use it at the right time. Right now social media is taking over, and the only way that you can grow maybe as a brand or an artist or if you have a talent is through social media. So you find maybe kuna student you imba, kuna mse mwenye ufanya comedy kwa shule, kuna ule mse una get. But before you can always use also social media to also expose yourself. So that now we are talking of the bigger picture in terms of positivity. You get? So open a page, always relate with the right people when you are like your page when you are kusaidia ku grow. By the time you finish Form 4, you have a fan base.
We have so much to say, but so little time, unfortunately. Now, on our fun fact segment, did you know that over 5 million Facebook users are under the age of 10?
5.
Ooh. This is despite the fact that the legal terms and conditions prohibit anyone under the age of 13 from using the site. Now, 24% of teens admit to going online almost constantly. This is undoubtedly linked to the widespread availability of smartphones. Now, guys, did you know that Lady Gaga is the queen of Twitter?
Yeah.
Ooh. And Mowa Masharia.
Gonna do like
yeah. I don't even know how to use Twitter anyway, but I'm learning. So more people own a cell phone than a toothbrush. True. That is so true. We have to come to the end of this show. But before we do that, I would like our guests to give us a small, outline of what they normally do and all that. Just 2 words. Hiya, Anne.
Okay. Before I say what I do, I would want to take it to the parents that much as we would hate the social media or the technology, we can learn a lot from our children.
True, very true.
All that I know about technology, I've learned from my children. About the phone, about the computer, about everything I've learned from my children. So we can make use of what they know, because again, we may not be able to go back to school. Otherwise, I'm a teacher trainer and I'm a counselor, especially a youth counselor. That is what I do most of the time. And family counseling.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Anne. What about you, Brayo?
My parting shot is very simple. Everyone has the right to information. So make sure you do the right thing at the right time, in the right manner, and in the right place. And be your brother's keeper. Collective responsibility that matters. My name is MC Alandos. You can always get me on Facebook, MC Alandos, Instagram, MC_Alandos, and Twitter, it's Alandos. Thank you so much, Brian from Real Houses of Kangware, and thank you for your support. God bless you.
Many thanks.
Finally, to my peers and those that are younger than me, discipline yourself. Social media and technology, discipline yourself. You don't need to do it because everyone else is doing it. Make a sound decision to do what is right for yourself, not just now, but for your future. I'm Purity Wairimo, second-year student of education.
Santi Sana. Thank you very much for having time. All right. Now, for more information about the show, please visit us on our social media handles. You can also contact us on the numbers that are below on your screen. I have been your host, Mogo wa Masharia.
And of course, my name is Priscilla Gitonga, and we had Lamek Leyan on the show too. And until then,
see you around.
Hot matters.